Welcome, dear students and future professionals. Now, there is a common problem with all of us, and we constantly, hear, and we also ourselves complain. Time nahi ho raha hai. I'm not finding time to do this, do that. Particularly today I'll be discussing, in the context of you students, not finding enough time to do your task and building your future in the process. So, I'll start with one quotation by Benjamin Franklin, what he had said. We may delay, but the time will not. What does this mean? We usually procrastinate, but time keeps on moving ahead. And this ultimately leads to missed opportunities, right? Because, time lost cannot be regained. That's why, famous saying goes, time and tide waits for none, right? So, what is the answer then? Answer is we need to manage our time better, more efficiently. But saying that is so easy. So how do we manage our time? And particularly for you students, time is gold. So today I will be discussing with you, how do you manage your time? Okay, there are a few steps which the experts have already suggested, right? And so behavioral scientists also support these, methods and tools how to better manage time. I'll go one by one, right, with examples in each. So first of all, you have to know how you are spending your time. We all need to, first of all, know that these are the ways in which we are spending our time, be it 24 hours, be it a week, be it a fortnight. Okay. Now for this, what we need to do? We have to have a time log. What is a time log? A time log is a detailed record of the time throughout the day or throughout the week that we spend. Okay. So time log will help us to identify where we are spending more time or excess time than required, and where we are spending too little time or inadequate time. Okay. Either extreme is bad, Now, so commonly what happens, you students, in the context of students, particularly pursuing professional courses, sorry, three categories we can divide your time that you spend, and you can put them in the, time log. What are they? First is your academic. So in academics, what you do? Reading, writing, studying, attending classes, right? Online courses. Then second category is that of self-care or personal care. And this will obviously include things like having food. Food is equally important. Sleep. If you don't have adequate sleep, you cannot focus, you cannot concentrate. That's also equally important. So you must be spending some time on your sleep. Ideally 7 hours or 7.5 hours sleep is recommended. Okay, and people who don't have adequate sleep in the long run land up in a very serious problems. That's called insomnia. So that is the second category, right? Also exercises, commuting from your college, wherever you stay. Then there is extracurricular activities also you are spending some time. So your catalog or time log will show you three categories. That is extracurricular activities. Third, category, it includes sports activities, club activities, and also doing some volunteering activities. So in these three ways, you have to divide, you have to put the time you spend in a time log. Now after you prepare a time log, what you have to do is you have to prepare a summary, and your summary statement should be somewhere like this. Today I spent 6 hours in attending classes in the college. It was quite fruitful. But in the afternoon, I spent around 45 minutes, in some distractions, right? You can say oversleeping could be one, right? So you spell it out to yourself that I need to improve my focus between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. right? Or you can also say that I need a shorter evening hour spending with my roommates in the fast food center, right? So this could be your summary statement once you prepare a time log. Next thing you can do is prepare a daily schedule. What you are going to do, every day. Okay? So it starts from the morning, you wake up time, right? You have to fix a wake up time and stick to that. Then you need to rehydrate, okay? Have your breakfast, okay? Then there is study time, that is class and study time will be there. So you have to block some time for that. That is lectures, study sessions, library use is also equally important. Now, as I said, physical and mental health you need to ensure, do something about. So you have to spend some time on that. So your daily schedule should also, include the time that you're marking for physical and mental health. So that is also, it includes what is physical mental health. You are doing some exercises, going to a gym, right? Having proper meal, doing some, taking some relaxations, because relaxation will help you to, protect yourself from burnout. All these are very essential. So second thing is create a daily schedule. Next comes, within schedule, one more thing I must tell you that, daily schedule activities could be too hectic. So do not forget ever to have a buffer time, right? What is that buffer time? Leave 1 hour at least, a flexible, unstructured time for unexpected tasks. So that should also be there as a part of your daily schedule. Now, third thing is that your time blocking. You have to block time depending on the urgency of the task, right? So you have to have some dedicated slot for particular tasks, such as I said, attending classes, lectures, availing breaks, undertaking exercises, meals, social life, that is meeting friends, classmates, because it will help you to, prevent burnouts. Now, after time blocking, next thing you should do is, these are the experts they have advised is, you have to use something called, decision matrix, right? So what is a decision matrix? You can put all your tasks into 4 quadrants, right? So, and what they indicate? So it is a time management actually matrix where you categorize all your tasks rather into 4 categories, broad categories. What are they? Urgent, next is not urgent, third one is important, and fourth one is not so important. So what are you going to do to each of these tasks which you have put in these 4 quadrants? So those tasks which you feel are urgent and important, you have to attend to those tasks, as soon as possible. Take for instance, submitting your assignments, writing internship, project report, submitting resume to your prospective employer. So this you have to complete as early as possible, as soon as possible. Next category comes those tasks which are urgent but not important. So what should you do there? You need to delegate these tasks to a friend or your family members, right? So, we can take the example here. Suppose you want to get your dresses, from the laundry and you don't have time for that. So you can delegate it to someone, right? If you are in a hostel, you can ask your hostel, boy to do it for you. Or if you are in a family, you can ask your younger brothers or sisters to do it. Okay? Now it may not be a daily habit, but then you need to delegate. Delegation is an important tool, a managerial tool to manage time. Okay, I'll come to that later in a different video. Third category is those tasks which are not urgent, but then they are important. So what should you do to these as a part of your time management? Better defer it, because they are not urgent, so you can do it later, right? So these tasks, you have to defer, right? because they are not important and they are important but they are not so urgent. Let's take the example of replying to a friend's email regarding weekend reunion, right? He has mailed you with a program that you will be meeting somewhere and having a very nice weekend. So you have to respond to that, okay? But it's not urgent. So you can defer this, do it later on. And finally, the category or the fourth quadrant, which is showing those activities which are not urgent and also not important. So obviously, that is, as expected, what you have to do is you have to delete that. Okay, ignore that. So these are the tasks which are the genuine, actually the time wasters. Okay. So take for instance responding to social media comments. In social media, too many comments come, right? In your WhatsApp, Facebook and all those things. You keep on, responding to that. And in the process, you waste a lot of time, right? Watching TV serials. Now, news part is all right, panel discussions are all right, current business, discussions are all right. But then, watching those family drama or serials on a continuous basis as a matter of habit, that's the worst thing you are doing, and you should avoid it at all costs, right? So, this way you can use this decision matrix and also better manage your time. Next one is setting reasonable time limits for each of the activities, right? Reasonable time. It should not be excess time, neither it should be too less or inadequate time, right? If you are setting inadequate time, that means you have to hurry it up, and if you hurry up, horrible results you are going to get. So set reasonable time limit for tasks. Why I say so, there is something called Parkinson's law. What this Parkinson's law says, work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. Suppose a task could have been completed within 15 minutes, but you fix up a time that is around say 30 minutes. So when you do this, what happens, ultimately you take 30 minutes to complete that particular task or work, which could have been completed in 15 minutes. So that fixed 15 minutes extra time you have spent, you have wasted. So always try to set reasonable time limits for each of your tasks in order of priority. Now, one of the funniest example I'll give you is somebody has suggested, what you can do is you work on your laptop without the charger being plugged in, right? This will give you a warning or a signal that you are exceeding the time. Okay, so this will also ensure that you finish your task faster and quicker, because always it will be ringing in your mind that I don't have the charger, right? Next thing you should do is learning to say no. So you need to learn when to say no. Now, I am not advising to always say no. Anything anybody says, don't go no, just like a parrot say no, I am not going to do that. See, you have to see to your priorities. Okay? So what this learning to say no means? You have to decline requests that is clashing with your own capacity or your own priorities. Okay? No need of excessive justification or a feeling of guilt for that. Okay? This is the best way you can protect your time. If a job you cannot do, if you are busy, better say no. Okay? Don't say maybe. Right? Yeah, what you can do is you can very politely request and offer an alternative if at all it is possible. Dear friend, I can do it next week, not this week, I am quite busy. That's the best way to say no. So you have to be very polite. Now, next thing is, as I said earlier, we waste a lot of time, right? And identifying and listing out these time wasters is very essential part of time management. Okay, this is not only where applies to you, it is applies to every one of us. Even we faculties also need to eliminate time wasters. Talking to a colleague on the veranda, corridor, on social issues, on politics, these are all time wasters. When we are in our institution, we are supposed to be totally focused on academics. Okay, there is no room for socialization. So here I'll quote what that martial art expert Bruce Lee had once said. You must be all heard about, seen his movie, right? So Bruce Lee had once said, and I quote here, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is specially your own. I read it again, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specially your own. Okay? So the best way to avoid these time wasters is avoid procrastination. What is procrastination? Delaying task, right? कल करेंगे, आफ्टरनून को करेंगे, अभी काफी टाइम है. Okay? So don't procrastinate. Start preparing for your examination, right? And if at all you are in the final year, you are supposed to attend a campus from the day one. Okay? Now, suppose you are to write an assignment. Don't procrastinate. Start working on that instantly, immediately, the very same day when your classes are over, maybe in the evening hours. You may not complete it, but then you have to start it. Okay? Now, again, one way to avoid time wasters is remove all digital distractions. Right? Keep your phones out of sight during particularly the study sessions, or keep it in a vibrating mode somewhere distance. Hand it over to your roommate who is free. Okay? Minimize social media at the all cost. Right? Study in a quiet place where there is no distractions. Right? Now, if you are in a family with your parents, better inform your family members, right, about your study time, study schedule time, so that they cannot interest you something else during that particular time. Okay? And one more thing here I would suggest, get rid of this yes man syndrome. What is this yes man syndrome? Sometimes your roommates, sometimes your friends, sometimes your institutions, different stakeholders, right? They ask you to do certain things. Okay, they are not directly connected with your own direct interest, in academic interest or your career. Okay, it's not directly connected, because you have to set your priority, you have to manage your time. You cannot go on, saying yes to everything. I had earlier said, learn to say no, right? So if you are overcommitting to every event, be it a club event, because there are different clubs in the institutions also, okay, that is required, but then don't overcommit. I am stressing the word, don't overcommit. Suppose there are competitions organized by different institutions in the city, fine, you can attend a few. Suppose you are the best around, so your institutions will be insisting that you go and attend, skipping classes, right, sacrificing your own study hours, preparation. Okay? So don't have this, yes man syndrome in you at any cost. Okay? Either extreme is bad. Okay? Extracurricular activities are required, necessary to build your overall personality. But then overcommitting yourself on all these activities will involve that you are going to sacrifice your own priorities, which is studying, getting ready and preparing for the future. Okay? For the campus, for the job interviews. Okay? So these are a few things that you and every one of us need to do, and particularly because you students, right? For you, as I said in the beginning, time is gold. So manage your time well and build your career future. Okay, thank you. Before I log out, I would again put a request to you all. If at all makes sense to you, right? Please do subscribe if you have not done it earlier, and also share it with your friends. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. Okay, thank you.